thanks so much for having me. And I guess this is just a time for you guys to ask any questions or, yeah, go to town or don't, or just have a little chat. Yeah, it's difficult. Like, I guess the day one, like, I was just so nervous, like driving in the car. Like, I haven't had to relocate. Like, I'm still living in my same house. Everything's the same. I just take a left turn, not a right turn when I get to a certain intersection. Like, that's how different it really is. It's not even that bad. But I was so nervous because I didn't know where I sat amongst the group kind of thing. A lot of the girls I started playing at the elite netball with like 12 years ago. So it's kind of cool getting back and playing with them. That's really exciting. But yeah, there's new surroundings, new coaches, and training has been super hard. So that footwork stuff we did at the start, we do 15-minute interval, and then we have break, and then we do another 15-minute interval, and then we do like some ball handling of all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm absolutely knackered by the end of it. And we train twice a day, and just have Thursdays off. So, and obviously Sundays, but yeah, it's good. I'm loving it. I think I needed that fresh start. You know how you just get into a bit of a like routine and it's kind of all the same, and I'm like, oh, do I really enjoy this? Yeah, I do. I just needed a bit of a change, and yeah, it's definitely provided that so far. Never. I've never ever, not in netball, I've never ever been told that I'm too short. I did when I played, because I played state basketball and state netball up until the age of 17, and they were just like, oh, like, you're probably going to be too short for basketball. But netball, never had an issue. I've always not been picked for combinations, or I'm just not the best, or not the right fit for the team. That's fine, but they've never gone, oh, you're too short. The only thing I did get told when in 2010 was Commonwealth Games was the setback, was just saying you're just too young and inexperienced. And I'd been travelling with them for 2 months and the coach never played me. And I was like, well, why didn't you play me? You don't know what I can do because you've never put me out there. So that was Norma, by the way. And I had to like get some really big courage to say that to her. When I said it, I was like, oh, so scary. She's like the Devil Wear Prada, if you people don't know her. Yeah, like Miranda. Exactly the same. You'd walk in, you'd be like, hi. She'd be like, yes. You'd be like, nothing. How's your day? Or like when the phone rang and it was like, no one plumbing, you'd be like, voicemail? No, but then I'm going to have to call it back. No. And then you'd be like, oh, no, I can't do it. I put so many of her phone calls through to message back. Yeah. Yeah, so in Victoria they have like a player pathway. So I grew up in Geelong and played local football, netball, and played like juniors and seniors on a Saturday, and then played a couple of rep teams for Geelong and went to association champs in Melbourne, and just went through kind of those age groups, like there's academies, there's state trials, made a lot of teams, missed out on a few teams along the way, but just kind of kept plodding through. And when you go to those tournaments, they've always got like selectors there, or people, you know, talent identifying and things like that. And I came up to Canberra a few times for a few camps. And when I was up here, when I was 17, one of the head coaches saw me and said, do you want to come along to a training session? And then I did, and my netball idol was Shelley O'Donnell, and she was in the team that I was training with, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is the most amazing thing ever. And then she retired, and obviously because we played the same position, because I've tried to emulate my game off hers, she retired, and so I got a gig, so I was like, yay, awesome. I mean, I love you, but woohoo, you're gone. So yeah, and then I played, obviously there was Kestrels and Phoenix, and that's when they merged together to become the Vixens. So I've played, this is my 12th season at the elite level, but yeah, it's just been a player pathway thing. But my first year at Vixens in 2008, so I'd been a starting 7 player, and then I came to Vixens and I was on the bench. And that was like kind of hard, because it was like 2 clubs, very passionate Melbourne clubs, merged together to become one. So you had a lot of top players. So I went to Perth for 2 years, and then I came back at the Vixens, and then obviously after being at the Vixens for 7 years, decided it was time to go to the dark side and join Collingwood. So yeah, but yeah, it's been a long journey, and I guess last year's probably the toughest year when I did my ACL. I did my knee, so I was out for 12 months. missed out on World Cup. That was probably my one thing on my bucket list that I really want to do. There's been a lot that I've been able to achieve, so that's kind of the one thing I'm hanging out for 2019. 2018 Comm Games would be awesome on the Gold Coast, and then 2019, and then I'll reassess from there. I'll see how I go. That's if the body even lasts till then. Day one pre-season, I was like, what am I doing? I was like, I hate myself for doing this to me. I'm so sore, I'm in so much pain. These young 20-year-olds are like, I'm so sore. I'm like, shut up, don't even talk to me. I used to remember the older girls when I first started going, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'd be like, oh, what is this? Like, they can't back it up. Now I totally get it. Just don't bounce back like I used to anymore. Yeah, it is. And because we've all got different training times, like you do cross over a bit, but the girls are only in there twice a week and they're evenings. Netball, we obviously have between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. blocked off. That's a part of our like collective bargaining agreement. So girls can still study, still work part-time or full-time. And so we aren't in there in the middle of the day, and the footballers are in there from like 7 till 3. So you cross over a little bit, but since we've been there, it's been really welcoming. The AFL boys are really good. The VFL boys, so because they say that there's 4 teams, AFL, VFL boys, the female AFL, and then us. And the VFL boys kind of think like their shit don't stink. And we're kind of like, you haven't quite made it yet, buddy. Like, just calm your farm. So yeah, like when we're training and stuff like that and doing gym, like the other night, a few kids like walked in and they're like bouncing the ball, and I was like, you do that again and you'll hear about it. And he was like, sorry, I do apologise. I was like, we're training. Would you like me to walk through your training? And they were like, oh, so I was like, so sorry. I was like, yeah, watch it. He's probably like, oh my God, my mother's following me everywhere. This chick knows it. Yeah, so yeah, it's been really good. The resources and just the staff and things that we have access to, like, it sounds really corny, but like to be able to say like, oh, I'm just going to the club, like that is just something I never thought as a netballer we'd ever get to do, that I can do my training, my weights, my recovery, everything all at the one place. And they're like the most incredible facilities. So yeah, it's... Yeah, well, yeah, I know, like, oh, they don't go to Arizona anymore. They've just got their own heat tent and altitude room there now. So yeah, so we've got some girls that are coming back from like knee injuries, and because they can't do our conditioning on court, they're just in the altitude room or the heat chamber and doing stuff there. So they're getting up to scratch pretty quickly. So yeah, it's been awesome. A lot of people are like, oh, what, you know, they like the boys are a little bit like, oh, these females, you know, walking on our toes kind of thing. I think they're a little bit scared that we're going to show them up a little bit, in the sense that like we're so appreciative of everything that we have, yet they walk in as an 18-year-old and it's just handed to them, where we're like, oh, thank you so much. And like the staff are like, oh, that's so lovely of you to say thank you. And we're like, why wouldn't we, kind of thing. So I think they're like, don't show us up too much, like, because then we'll have to do more. And we're like, you should be doing more anyway. So hopefully we can learn off each other. I mean, I think this year with the ANZ Champs, I think it showed that the competition was like up to expiry, because there were so many games that were being won and lost by like 20 plus goals, and that's not what the elite level should be like. I think that although, you know, I know at Collingwood we've got a really massive target on our back already, I still really think it's going to be really close, because just because we might have a great list of talented players, we've got to all start from scratch, and we've got to mould ourselves into this team that we want to be really, really quickly. Like, we start in Feb and we've only just the last 2 weeks had the whole 10 together. And even still, people have been in and out. So it's kind of hard. And I don't think people realise how much work behind the scenes has to go in to make the team really successful. Just because you've got the calibre of the players, it doesn't just happen like that. I'm hoping it happens round 1 when we play Vixens, but we'll see. It might not be so quick. But yeah, there's a lot of things that have to go into, and there's obviously the 3 new clubs. And I think GWS will be really strong. I think the Sunshine Coast will be quite competitive as well. But you can't underestimate those clubs that have existed for so long, because they have no pressure on them anymore, because it's just like no one's really expecting much, and they'll be the ones that if you take them too lightly, they'll come and beat you. So I think that it'll be much closer games, much more competitive, which is what we want. The only thing I hope that they don't change, like I know that there's talk about the 2-point rule coming in 2018. I'm not a fan of that. Only because as a wing attack or as a centre, it goes against everything that I'm out there trying to do. I'm trying to get the goal as close to the post, get them to put a high percentage shot up. I pass it to them and then they pass it back out just to score a 2-point shot. It's like, oh, what's the point? So, and the strategy's more in the goaler's hands rather than everyone getting a bit of strategy on it. So yeah, I hope they don't change it. Keep it in fast 5, absolutely have a bit of fun with it, but I hope they don't change the traditional game too much. But what, pardon? Oh, I mean, in fast 5, she's incredible, but you know, I guess the reason they kind of want that is because they want to bring the short shooter back, because they're kind of sick of seeing like your Romeldas just like the ball being lobbed up. Yeah, like that completely changed the game when she came into the comp. Now they're trying to go, oh, like let's bring the short shooter back into the game and let's shoot the long bombs. But, you know, then it defeats the purpose of everything else. Defenders, they're trying to keep them away from the post, but oh no, they can shoot 2 points out there. No, where do we want to put them? Like, who knows? So I think everyone else except the goalers are like, no. The goalers are like, yeah, let's be more superstars. And we're like, nah, don't want it. Had enough of them getting all the glory. Yep, I think it's the way to move forward. And I don't know whether it's me because I'm biased, because that's what I played when I was a 9 or 10-year-old girl. I was just like, wow, I love it. You know, country footy netball, like in the metro we don't have it. I think it would be awesome because, as I said, to have access to their resources and facilities, like it's like, why wouldn't we kind of thing. So yeah, I believe that's the way the sport's going, whether it's all linked with AFL clubs or whether it's linking with a rugby club, because the Sunshine Coast are linked with Melbourne Storm or Melbourne Storm's Academy, which is on the Sunshine Coast. So whether it's different male codes, might be soccer, who bloody knows. So yeah, that would be really exciting. I think that's the way forward, but I guess time will tell kind of thing. We have a dietitian that sits down and works with us. We usually have to do like a weekly diary, and then she'll be like, this is not great, this is not good, or this is awesome, keep this, how do you feel on that? Because a lot of it is trial and error, because you don't know until you have yogurt before a training session, you're like, oh, Dara does not sit well with me, or yeah, that's fine, or yeah, I can have a big meal, or no, I only want a snack, I need before. So yeah, we do a fair bit of work with that. And the female footy girls, they're kind of like where we were 10 or 12 years ago, and they're like, oh God, they're putting us on like this diet or like this, you know, this. And we're like, it's good, like it's really good. It'll help you perform better. You'll recover better. You'll be able to back up session. Oh yeah, but I don't like it. And so we're like, you'll get used to it. So yeah, we do have support there, but most people are pretty switched on and educated. I think because we've had to fend for ourselves for quite some time, we kind of know all about it. Yes and no, like it's such, like, no, because like this year's meant to be like a lighter load when it comes to diamond stuff. Yeah. Yet we got 3 weeks off. Yeah. Like it's not a major competition year. So they say, you know, like your Com Games and your World Champs, they're your big years. Yeah. And the other 2 years in between that should be your lighter load. Yeah. It's not getting lighter, it's getting more. And so we're like, you know, people aren't going to be in the sport as long as they used to be because it's just so physically and mentally demanding, because you don't get enough time off, you don't get to go away. 2014 was the biggest netball year I had ever played. I played every minute of every game for Vixens. I did every game at Com Games, at our Constellation Cup for Diamonds, and all the training sessions, purely because other centre quarters had niggles and injuries. So they're like, oh Mads, you're going to be rested today, but you're going to have to pick up the load. And so I was constantly doing everything. And I believe I just got to like, obviously the start of last year, and my body was just like, enough's enough. Like, you can't keep doing this. You've been doing this for 4 years straight, picking up the pieces for everyone else when other people have had time off and you haven't done anything. And then you just had a massive year, and then you're thinking you can go do it again. Like So they've after that we did a lot of review, and I said we need to manage more, and hence why I'm not going to January tour. There's South Africa and England. There's a few of us that are being managed. I was like, oh, I didn't say it for you to kick me out. Like, I've had 12 months off. But I get it because I have had a big year coming back from injury. They're like, you just need to kind of be brought into it a bit. And I don't think they had assumed that I would play as much as I did in the Diamonds at the end of this year. I think they thought it would be more rotated, but it wasn't in the end. So yeah, that's why I'm not going in Jan. So they're getting better at it. It's like someone asked me the other day, who's probably the most who's the person in our team now that I'm really eager to play with and not against? And I mean, I've grown up playing with Shani Layton for ages, and that'll be exciting. But I think Ash Brazel's probably, because we just have such good battles, so to be able to train against her and not have to compete against her, I'm kind of looking forward to that. I think we'll hopefully get the best out of each other and be able to teach each other a bit more. So hopefully our games will go to the next level.